Hey everyone, welcome back to Cowabunga Ranger Talk. I'm Mascara and this is David. David, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hey everybody. So
Yeah,
yeah. So anyways, welcome back to the podcast. It's been very fun. And last time we were just talking about Ranger stuff, a little bit of turtles, and today's subject is the loyal subject. Uh that's actually a company's name. So if you guys haven't seen them, you can actually find them on the loyalsubject.com. A lot of companies like Big Bad Toy Store sells them. Entertainment Earth. I've seen them at Walmart. At times, Target has them as well. So they're all over the place. Big name company, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
yeah. So, right before we get into it, I wanted to show a couple of things I was working on actually. Uh, since I'm a Power Ranger fan, I figured why not try this? And I started doing this just because of the price. I was at Ross and I saw this figure and I was like, why not? Which is this. See if you can.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
So I'm making a Megazord for the Void King, a Void King Megazord. I'm painting him right now, so he's not completely done or anything, but as you can
Very
see there,
cool.
yeah. I mean, I figured you have this sculpt to this head, and for $12, why wouldn't I try to make him?
Exactly.
Yeah, I found this pretty cool paint, so there's the feet there. I'm painting it. It's still a work in process, but I did want to show that. Hey, this is what Hasbro should be doing. It's right
Right.
there. Yeah,
So in that case, let me show you this.
sure.
So last time we talked about custom morphers. So this is the one that I actually built. The one I took apart and put together.
Yeah,
And of course, the Bandai when you first got in America was like this, upside down, and they actually hoard it up, like this. This is the way you're supposed to hoard it.
hmm
And I mean, it's fully functional,
yeah,
and yeah, it looks nice. It's a nice display.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I
Looks
could
cool.
do this for anybody, and it looks. Only reason it doesn't come on is because I took the batteries out. I didn't want the batteries because I'm having it on a display. The battery's gonna get old, gonna get corroded, and I just didn't want to go through that. But
Yeah,
if someone wants one of these, I can actually do this. This was me. Like I said, there's a video on this channel showing me doing it. I mean, it was a fun project. Took me 2 days because you had to let the paint dry before you could put the stickers on.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, little customization. I think that's great. When you can do that, save hundreds of dollars and just do it for like $20. I think that's what the cost me was like $20 in total. Paint plus stickers, and then time and effort. So
yeah.
yeah, and then your little customs order, that was awesome. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Exactly.
I always hate when they make the Zords, but they won't make the. If the villain gets a Zord, he doesn't get an actual toy release, especially when it's something so simple. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just making that up, but it's in the head. The head is included when you buy the regular figure anyway, so why not?
There you
Uh,
go.
yeah. Before we get into the actual topic of today, I wanted to make a quick correction because the name was blanking on me last time. The name of the guy that used to do the voice of the original Shredder was James Avery, and the guy that replaced him did the voice of the current. Well, the 2012 Shredder was Kevin Michael Richardson. I did want to clarify that
Okay.
because people want to look them up and the names, and I try to be as respectful as possible for that. So that
Oh,
is
for sure.
yeah. So let's get into the meat of the episode.
All right.
The loyal subjects. I'll let you go first. What do you think about them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they're garbage? Do you think they're the greatest thing in the world? What do you think?
Well, what I've seen of them, I don't actually own any of them, but what I've seen of them, they look amazing. Uh, some of them look like the outside of the box. You know what I mean by outside the box? But overall, I think, again, it's all creativity. It's what people picture something. Um, I think it's amazing. I love seeing the different styles. I mean, That's why we had Ninja Turtles looking a certain way back in the 80s and not today.
Yeah.
Certain way they had action figures built, with like weird stuff added to them so they can like transform and stuff. I mean, it's interpretation of it. And I find interpretation very interesting because some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to like it. And, I think open-minded people are the ones that go for this type of creativity, more than just, I'm a straight 80s fan. I love the Turtles in the 80s. That's what they are. No Michael Bay, no nothing, that's,
Yeah, you just stated.
You just stated. And those people, good people, but they don't know how to grow. They don't know how to grow out of the way they're supposed to be. And, as yourself as a toy maker, if you don't grow, you ain't going nowhere else. You're just going to be stuck in one place.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, now that you say that, I have a figure I can actually show of
Okay.
my toys that kind of comes up with correlates with what you were saying. So when you're making toys and stuff, sometimes you have to do test runs, some test prints. And this character, you can see him there. His name is Thorax.
Okay.
I hand that away. This character's already been released and all that, but guy was having problems with his actual stand because the character is modeled with a wheel, so he doesn't have traditional 2 legs to stand on. So I did a test run of him, and then I had to do him again because here I fixed the base on him, so now he can stand, which is the point of the character. The toy. Sometimes it just like it's part of the toy evolution. You think you got it. Hey, it looks perfect. Like, see, if you look at the figure and the sculpt, and yeah, he's going really close to what the drawing I made of him is.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, but then he doesn't stand, so you ain't got shit.
Again, we just talk.
I try not to curse, but you know what I mean. It's like if the character don't stand, you can't put him on a shelf. So it's kind of shoot yourself in the foot there.
Again, we were just talking about that in the last episode with Superfly. He was top heavy, he falls down easily. Same idea, it's a balancing act, and yeah.
Sometimes it's trial and error too, because sometimes you model something and it looks perfect, and you do the 3D render and you see it and it's like you don't have any problems, and then you actually put it to the machine, and then the machine says you got a buttload of problems, and you're like, well, I didn't see any of that in the render. Like, I made this. How can I have made a problem for myself? It's just sometimes it's just trial and error.
That is very true.
Get hit the pavement, really, because you could talk about making toys all day. As a toy maker, you could talk about making toys. I get the benefit of making my toys, which is, I mean, in some aspects, it's like, well, everybody's dream. Everybody as a kid, they drew a character and they were like, hey, look, this turtle's got a yellow bandana. He's different. He's like, oh, what if it would be like if I actually made a toy of this yellow bandana turtle? You know what I mean? And then write a story. And then I get the benefit of creating my own stuff. But it's also, I guess, a double-edged sword, if you will, because I have to hold myself to higher standards because I know what this can be in my head, and then I have to physically draw it. I have to hand draw it. I have to scan it in the computer. I have to clean it up. Then I have to create a 3D version of it. After the 3D version of it, you have to try to test print it. Like I said, you make some mistakes. Sometimes the polygons don't play with you. Because last time we spoke, I said that, I render the characters in 3D modeling, but most people do 3D modeling as your toy making. I don't do the articulation as much as other people do, just because of machines and budgetary reasons and things like that. But there's people out there that do articulated 3D printed figures. I don't know how they do it and what kind of, miracle patience they have that I don't. Because I'll show you another figure. This little guy takes like 5 hours to print, right?
That little guy. It takes 5
This
hours.
little guy's looking at and he's one solid piece. If you tell me, let's see, like this I was gonna talk about it a little later. This I think is probably Hasbro's best Megazord ever, but
Really,
you know how much time it would be to print this freaking guy, bro?
5 days.
This
Yeah.
the head articulation alone will drive you nuts. So I give credit to the people that can articulate. That's because we could all slice and make a peg, but then actually printing them. If that took me like 5 hours, I can. That's got to be like 3 days of printing, and you usually do that. Then you move on to the resin stage where you print it on resin material, but it's still 3D printed. It's still that way, and then you send it to factory, and then the factory makes the casting of the molds, and then the casting of the molds gets pressurized for about 60 to 90 days.
Okay.
That's where the two metal plates seal together with the figure in between to hold its shape, and then you break out the cast, and then you can start pouring in the liquid plastic. So that's a little background on toy making, by the way. So yeah, it's not an easy thing, and it's how I actually sometimes I'm a little like not envious, but envious of other people that get to work on other people's lines because it isn't yours. Like if they hire me to work on Batman, I don't own Batman. I didn't create Batman. It's not really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not yours.
Yeah, if you don't like my Batman, there's like 6,000 other Batmans to come out there. There is not 6,000 other Mosquito Fighters or Kelly Collider or whatever figures I'm creating. You know what I mean? So it cuts deeper. Like, yeah, okay, you didn't like my Batman. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not Bob Kane. What do I? You know what I mean? I'm not. Or the other guy was Bob Finger, the other creator of Batman, or you know. So you don't suffer that when you're working on other people. Like the perfect example as well. The people that work on the Transformers stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They work on the Transformers, but they don't own it. They're like, all right, you didn't like this, get another thing. It's not like we're the only people that make Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Getting into the actual subject of it. So we're talking loyal subjects, and so your take is that you like the designs and you want to see more, basically.
Yeah, I would love to see what else they can do. You know, and
well, for me personally, I think loyal subjects is on model. Okay, this is just on model what the character looks like. They do some actual very beautiful stuff. Their stuff looks very nice. Their problem is, and other people have said it too, but it's their articulation is garbage, and the plastic that they use is not good. Not good. Perfect example. I actually spent money, and obviously because we got some money, but I actually bought this figure, this shredder, because I was just to test to see how the line is. I'm not, all in on this line at all. And you look at it, and as far as articulation goes, the figure actually gets to bend. That's what the figure looks like sitting down. That's not really sitting down. That's as deep. Look, that's literally as deep as the crotch piece will give you.
Yeah, I see that.
You're not sitting down then, So there's that. Also with the figures, every arm, because I bought this one at a Walmart, but I've seen them at a GameStop. I've seen them everywhere. Here, the hinge joints themselves, they are always broken on all of the shredders, and it's the same thing for the April. If you see the April one,
I have seen the April one. Yeah.
You see a little crack. That's not a little crack. This thing is, look. I don't even want to move it so much because you can kind of see already the tears.
Yeah.
This was out of box. I looked at this thing twice. And it's already broken out of box. So I feel
so the quality control is really bad, and the molding plastic is bad on it.
Look at this hinge. I mean, look at this bend here. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, that doesn't look terrible, but then it's got double hinge. See, now you can
exactly.
Now you see the problem. You see where
I definitely see the problem. Yeah,
you see it now. That's an ugly cut, bro.
it is
That
an ugly
is,
cut. It's something you wouldn't expect. I mean,
yeah,
again, a collector's toy. You
yeah.
want
This
high
isn't made for
quality,
yeah. This is made for
everything.
an adult. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's. I guess the idea is to try to sneak these into your original Playmates line as filler, I guess. But these are not 4 inches either. These are bigger than because the turtles were 4 inches.
yeah.
I work at 4.1. My Mascara fighters are Mascara. All of my lines are 4.1, 4.2, but they don't hit 5 because 5 would be another scale and price. I would literally price myself out of toy making if I went to 5 inches, which I'd love to do 6 inches on all my figures, even if they are non-posing, just because it looks nicer. But for
No.
budgetary reasons, you gotta stick at 4.5, 4.2, whatever. But
Okay, so
this
quick.
this is mass produced. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's mass produced.
This isn't like 100 run. You made more than 100 of these. Come on, bro.
Well,
So
that's the same thing with like Hasbro. You hear people opening the boxes they can't see in, and they have a detached
oh yeah,
leg or a
that kills
detached
like three
arm or
lines.
something. And it's like, yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was looking at now that you mentioned that. That's a good point. That package free, that plastic free packaging thing, that killed the Indiana Jones line because all of the toys were broken on the inside. That
yeah,
I that really stunted the growth of Power Rangers. We're doing a Power Rangers and Ninja Turtle podcast, so that really like because you heard all of the QC issues with plastic free and like you can't see the toy and oh I bought a Red Ranger but he's missing hands or he's got two left hands and he doesn't have the human head or he's missing the lightning effect. They're like,
yeah, because you can't see through
no,
it. You can't
bro.
see, and it's like I got the Dino Theory Black Ranger. I pre-ordered that before. 'Cause anytime I try to order anything of that series, if you don't order it immediately, it's pretty much gone and might not come back. I got it. And of course, you can't see through the box. The box was ripped when I got it. I
Yeah,
pre-ordered
it's
through
yeah,
Hasbro, and the box was already ripped open. And there's one thing I like to do is take photos of the action figures. When I do my videos, I always have photos with them, and I will post them through my video. So I'll try to like mimic the box art. If the
yeah,
character's holding one way or have a certain hand in there, I try to mimic it. Well, I believe he was supposed to have a right hand that was opened. And guess what? That hand wasn't there. It was on the left side. So you can't pose them like the box. They
yeah.
messed up the box
There's no
art.
quality control on
No.
something closed.
And it was just like you cannot show a box art this way and you can't do it because you have the hand, but it's on the wrong side. It was like this is ridiculous, Hasbro. And the sword of his was bent a little bit. I had to put a hair dryer to it and rebend it out. And it's like I shouldn't have to do that. Any company that has quality control issues that is mass producing um, really needs to take time to step back and look at the QC because I know Bandai as a kid, I didn't remember having any problems. Even this guy, you know, this guy is one of those automorphers, and again, it's chrome. Hasbro makes one of these. It's chrome, but it's not an automorpher. It's a metallic, whatever.
I know what it is.
Yeah,
I have
you've
to
seen
dig
it.
one out, but yeah, I have them.
Yeah, so
The newer ones, I know what you're talking about.
this is the original Bandai automorpher, and this is broken. But this thing is old as hell. I mean, I have a little piece of tape to hold the shield on. But again, if I was going to design this, I would design it where this is actually on him, and there would just be a piece that would open up this way. So, like when you take this off and you
Do
hit the
the full
button,
cut on the chest.
yeah, so there'd be a
Yes.
full cut, yeah, and
Yeah, they
that's
did do that in the reimagining of the figure that Hasbro did.
did
Oh,
they
hold
do it?
on a second, because see if I can see him. Hold on one second. You go on with the figure. See if I can pull him out. See if I can find him.
Okay, but yeah, so it's like Hasbro could like upgrade this, and one of the other things is like Super 7, makes these weapons that has the hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I brought this guy back out of my collection fair, the weapons had a hole in it on purpose because the hands also had the little pegs. So when you put the weapon into the hand, I don't know if you can see that or not. into the hand, you see the little peg right there. And that's where the weapon would go. So the hand, like a lot of characters today, when they put the weapons in their hands, the hands might bend or something, and then the weapon will fall out. Like the Leonardo that I had in the last episode, the katana itself would. Oh, it's
Dig it
okay.
out another time. Well, go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, like I said, the peg. I'm having a really bad delay on my camera now. That's weird. But see, there's a peg in this hand,
Yeah. The
and
end. Got it on
that's
that.
it's because the weapon had a hole, and this was a smart design. I didn't even think about it until I got this guy out and thinking, when Super 7 did the reissue of the little original weapons with the hole in it, that's why, because they had pegs in the hand. So it didn't matter if your character's hand opened up by accident, the peg was still there, so you could still hold the weapon. Bandai did something intelligent. Hasbro could do that, but they're not going to, because, I mean, they couldn't do it with all the characters, but yeah, there's other reasons.
Yeah. Maybe it's it might be budget. It might also be they didn't actually buy the full toy trademark for it. I think that might, because they're kind of swerving it. Because if you have I don't know if you've seen the new figure. Like I have them, so I can at least talk about them. The new figures are fatter. The reimagining of those, the automorphing, they call it retromorphing or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen them.
They're fat. The body's fatter. The body's fatter. That's a lot thinner. So you figure it wouldn't be any problems with head, turning or head dunking, because it's a head flip that the character does to, here's the morphed version. But one of the big, since we're talking about, perfect. One of the big things that the new ones don't do is they don't turn their head.
They don't turn their head.
You should be able to at least look left and right. This is like really left and right. If you can't turn left and right, the hell are you doing? I mean, the Ranger, if it's morphed, you can give the illusion of articulation. Like, okay, he's looking at you. You know what I mean? It's another point of movement. It's another. I'm not moving the whole body. I'm just moving the head, but it'll give you a different pose. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
It should have been such an easy thing for them, because I've pulled on the head, so I've seen the back of the head, and the back of the head has the same little peg line that the original 96 version, because that's the 96 toy. That's the movie one, right? Because that's the metallic one.
It is the metallic one. It is. What did that say? Does it say 96?
I think it was 96, 97, the original movie.
Yeah, I think so. I know the package has limited edition on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was the movie flip head one, yeah.
Yeah, but in 2023, you mean you can't do this?
Right?
Come on, bro. You had to at least a 25-year head start on this figure for you to reimagine at least this. I mean, come on. But that's, getting back to the subject here. So we're talking loyal subjects.
Yes.
I was critical about their figures. Honestly, when you buy them, the plastic feels fine. It doesn't feel hollow, but it doesn't feel like anything other than, like the last time we were talking, you showed off the movie Leonardo, the Mayhem one. It's comparative plastic wise, so that's fine. Here, this is, like I said, I'd like to say the positive and the negatives, and then let people decide what they think. Here's something that they did, and as ugly as the articulation can be, figure wise, it's overall a grand hit, and it's this right here.
Oh, the Krang.
They're Krang. I bought this thing at a local comic shop, and I bought it at retail. I bought it for $40, which is good because local mom and pops, they gotta live too. So
exactly,
this is good. This though, see, woof. Come on, bro. Like I said, the articulation kills this figure. Look at this. Look at this, man. Look, even worse. I'll show you the knee.
And see, it looks so good
Yeah.
until you do that.
Look at this, bro. This is not $40, bro.
No.
And I paid retail. I didn't even pay like the $60 markup some people are charging or whatever. And it's strong. It's a durable plastic. You look at this, and this feels like something Super 7 could have done, because Super 7, I'll give them credit as well. Their plastic feels like toys. I like that. This is a toy. You know what I mean? So, and it has a good weight to it. It's not hollow. Like it's got a decent. It's not as solid as like the arms and the legs, but look, for the character is, he can sit down, quote unquote. That's him sitting. You can't tell me this isn't ugly, bro. Come on, this is.
It's ugly.
This is not sitting.
So
but
does those come with accessories?
Yeah, it comes with hands and other bullshit. Sorry not to curse, but it comes with other stuff to try to pad out the price. But the price is there in the figure. The figure is worth the, you know what I mean? So I don't figure sometimes with like other figures, you know, you buy it and you're like, man, this toy's garbage, but he's got so many accessories. You're like, all right, makes up for it. This is very much this was worth buying. Then he articulates, which destroys you. What I wanted to show is this. So I want to talk about their place as far as like for toy collectors and things. I think their place is better here with cross play with like other lines and things like that. Because if you put them next to the original Leonardo here, the classic Leonardo, he looks fine. He looks like they're supposed to be in scales. This is a good size, you know what I mean?
It is a good size.
Doesn't seem horrible, and you know, I look. He puts his hand on his throat. That looks fine, like choke slam or whatever. This is comparative size. This is good. So this is where I think loyal subjects should focus on making bigger figures. They're small figures. They're 4-inch. That's a no-go. You have to swallow this to get to the. Because it's an ugly swallow, bro.
Yeah.
But the figure, when he's standing like that, he looks fine. Another little size comparison, since we're doing, you know, talking about their place. Let's put them with another figure. Yeah. I happen to have the Shredder, the Playmates Shredder.
Okay.
I think he looks fine with the Playmates Shredder as well.
It looks about right.
It doesn't seem out of scale, so since Playmates won't do it,
right? But see, here we go again. This
is a good fill for the slot of a missing Krang. So there's a good recommendation, by the way. So if you guys are missing a Krang or something,
I'm totally missing Krang, actually.
Yeah,
but again,
good for what it is.
The tall enemies, Super 7, Power Rangers, same thing.
Krang's supposed to tower over people.
Yeah.
This was I was talking about last time. This is what he can do. This is Shredder. That's a karate master.
Yeah.
That's the highest he can kick.
Oh.
Dude, it's a karate master. Look, I'll lift the hinge so you can the little flap so you can see. That's it.
Wow, that's crazy.
You'd have to kick like this to try, and that doesn't even look. This doesn't look like somebody kicking you in the face, bro. It looks like you have a problem with your prostate or something. I don't know. This is no bueno here, bro.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. I think most adult toys, I think the people that are making them are just thinking more of let's get them to look right. Let's get them to bend a little bit so they can get into some cool poses.
Yeah.
And who cares about the overall joint look, you know? Because, like, I have this guy on display a lot of times, and it's basically just something like that, just something simple, you know. But I'm not expecting this guy to do the splits or have a position that's crazy like a
Yeah, but he
Hasbro
can
that has
spin.
17 positions on the arms. You know, it's not going to happen. But for a New Day company that has all different
You're
types
not
of
gonna get
joints
one
for
of these.
bending, exactly, that's ugly. Why would you do? I mean, uh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. I don't like that look. I mean, when it comes down to it, think about how you build the stuff. You know, I mean, you understand the concept totally. You understand. You know, you're not gonna build a character that's known. You're not gonna build a character that's gonna have a joint that looks like that. You know, that's ugly as sin, in my opinion. You know, it'd be one thing that came out in like the 80s. That would have been fine back in the 80s. You know, because
No,
the
this came out
technology.
this year. This is 2023.
I know, but what I'm saying is that came out in the 80s and did that. No one would have complained too much because you know, technology's changed for articulation and stuff. The way they build characters are just different, you know. Um, but that's just ridiculous in my opinion. You know, the character when it's standing looks awesome, looks perfect, like you said, looks detailed, work great.
He looks fine with a Leonardo to his
Yeah.
side.
But as soon as you bend the arm and you see that weird joint of the
Crane's gonna
legs
kick
and stuff,
you.
you know, it's like
Yeah.
exactly. It's like if you played the Turtle games, you know, his arm, he would blast one of his arms off on the original Turtles Arcade 2 game, you know. But even at that, it still looked like it would have like one of those, you know, ball joints that they have in like the Hasbro toys or the Super 7 toys, you know.
Yeah.
That thing looks like it's going to be able to just be snapped in half at times, depending on the way you do it. You know, I don't know what kind of accessories that came with for hands and stuff, but I don't know. I don't think I would ever want to change it out. It looks kind of
Yeah, I'm just
wonky, you
looking.
know.
I'm looking at the date of when the turtle was made. I'm trying to get in the lights. 2012.
2012, okay.
So 2012 gave you this articulation,
Yeah,
but it was 2012. This was 13 years ago,
exactly.
and this still was pretty. You know, bro, they still use this mold. They still use this, but Playmate still uses a lot of the pieces here. If
Oh
you could
yeah,
at least fix this and give me a different head every time you sell me the same Leonardo, I'll shut up. I mean, let's be real. The Lightning Collection is the same figure. You got two figures for Lightning Collection. You just buy them in different colors.
exactly. I mean, when you buy the reissue stuff, you're still buying the
Yeah,
just different paint, different head sculpts,
yeah, different
and
helmet and boots. Like,
yeah, I think the belt itself has black lines on it now instead of non-black lines. And speaking of
this,
which,
this is actually breaking the mold. This is not your average Power Ranger. This is a freaking golden. So you can't reuse this mold. So
no,
you know what I mean? But come on, bro.
which one is that? Is that the
That's
second
the
edition, or is
no,
that
that's the
the one
first.
from
That's the
GameStop?
first because the second one's a little more gold because
Okay,
they use a
yeah,
different wash on it, and that one has the back pegs for it. I
yeah,
don't
because
have
I
a
know,
complete one, but yeah, it has the. This is the lightning one, but it has the
yeah,
season 2 look. If you will.
because I remember one came out at GameStop only, and the other one came out later on.
Yeah, I mean, this is fine because, like, I get it because you need to make this is very old toy making, but it's still very true. You have to use the hell out of the mold so you can make a second mold.
You know, give me a second.
You know what I mean?
I actually have the original Goldar in the other room. Give me 1 second. I'll go grab it.
Yeah, yeah. Since I'm here, I'll show you guys some more shots of what the shredder looks like with the with his son, I guess. Because geez, this plastic is something else. Yeah, see, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look terrible, but geez.
So this is the original Bandai one. As you notice, it's missing the ring because I lost it somewhere. But this is what it looked like. This was the original mold that we had back as kids. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean,
You know, it's funny you say that. The other day I was at the flea market and I saw one for like $4. I was like,
Oh wow, yeah,
Twinsies.
yeah. Mine
Hey, for
doesn't
$4, there's no losing here. This is
exactly, and I've had this since I was a kid. I mean,
yeah,
do I still have this other ring somewhere? Probably not. It probably was left at a friend's house or whatever, you know.
yeah,
But I mean, even this, I mean, for the time being of Troy articulation, I mean,
yeah,
that's not bad, you know. And because they always like karate chop action was like the biggest thing back when we were kids, you know.
yeah. What date do you have on the foot? It's
Oh,
90, 93 or 94? 94, Sabon. Well, mine says 94, Sabon.
mine is my lighting is so bad in here. I won't lie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like it's 94.
yeah,
Yeah, probably the exact same model and everything. I mean, even the face on this thing, you know, for the time period of making these
yeah.
toys, really good.
You know what? Since we're talking about loyal subjects, one of the things that I wish they would have done that they didn't, and it pissed me off, was they did Razor and Toka, but they didn't do them in this size. If you do Razor and Toka in this size, I'll buy it. This is a
Yeah,
good size. They made Razor and Toka like this size. Nobody wants
really.
no. Oh, getting back to the loyal subject stuff and their place in like toy collectors. I wanted to show you another comparison I have here with a foot soldier from Super 7 to show you what they look like standing together. See, they don't look bad.
No, they don't look bad. They look pretty good.
So, like I said, this figure has a place in people's collection. I can't stress that enough. As much as I hate the articulation, it's very much warranted of a good buy. You know what I mean? This is money well spent. This isn't money that, like this guy, with these articulation that I'm like, oof, you spent money on that? Like, you remember when you were a kid and you had money and you bought something stupid and then your parents are like, why you buy that? You shouldn't have money. You shouldn't have money, bro.
But here we go again, though.
I take away your wallet or something. Don't come back till get some sense.
Right. So here's a question. As a collector, though, as a true collector, as we all are, at least most of us are, we see all these different brands that make all these different characters that we love, that we grew up on, and we have no idea what the articulation is going to be like when we buy them. Do you ever think about when you open one up and you start messing with it just to take it back because of how bad it is? Or do you just keep it because you bought it?
Well, I see both sides of it, so it's hard to see it as just a collector. If I was just a collector, oh man, this doesn't move this way or whatever, I'd cry and take it back. But then I think of the other side of I design toys, so I get somebody sat down and designed this thing. Now, if somebody else in the factory wanted to be cheap or they didn't want to put in the hinge to make the neck look like this and they could only do this,
yeah.
how's that the designer's fault? That's not the designer. Eventually, these things, like I do everything in-house by myself, but things move along. You know what I mean? Like going back to the crane, somebody modeled this, right?
Yeah.
And that's one person, and then you pass it on to the next person in the factory, and then the factory has to pick colors, and then the executives have to put this. And then another person in marketing has to say, this isn't worth $29.99. This is $49.99, or this is $30. Somebody has to price this thing.
Yes.
So it's like it follows. I have the luxury, if you will, of I designed it. I do this. I can stay with it, but I can see the frustration. You know what I mean? Because, like, look, if you can figure this out, and I don't have to see the hinges inside of this, why can't you do this? Why can't? Ew. Right. You know what I mean? Like, this is fun. You know what I mean? It's not even on a different figure.
Yeah.
It's on the same figure. You figured this out, but you can't figure this. You're hinging. Right. Look, here, it literally does the 360 spin, right? And then it literally does the 720 because it could go pop, 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 pop. And look, it's literally.
See, it looks great with the hand. Oh,
They
it's the
figured this
same.
out. You're so close. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like a pretty girl with ugly makeup. It's like, what are you so close? You know what I mean?
right.
That's too much blush, bruh. You know what I mean?
You
You're
know,
so close.
and again, there's the other side of collectors too. There's the inbox collector, and
Yeah.
that's we go back to the Hasbro. That's what something about the Hasbro people, the collectors of Hasbro, when they went to no window, people have problems with that because like the inbox collectors like the window because then they can show off I got this and here it is in the window. Um, I'm a semi inbox collector, semi because I don't have a place to display them. So I'd
Mhm.
rather keep them in the box. After reviewing them, I'll put them back in the box and put them on a shelf because I have no place to really display them. Now, when I get a place to display, they're all coming out of the boxes. And I don't know if that makes sense to you or not.
Well, I always, well, not hate, because that's a strong word, but I always disdain other, because I have other friends that are inbox collectors, and I never understood because it's like ordering a meal and then looking at it. No,
No.
you know what I mean? You're supposed to eat it, bro. You're supposed to play with it. So it was
Yeah,
for that. Don't even do it. Stay home. You know what I mean? But
exactly.
then I talked to one of my friends, she actually explained to me that it's more the art piece of it. So
Okay.
going back to, because I'm just gonna use Krang all episode. Why not?
Yeah, that's a good one to actually go by. Actually,
Yeah.
yes.
If you just look at him and you put him on a shelf and he doesn't move, he's fine. But if you have Krang doing this and turning his head and he's trying to kick a turtle, then he looks terrible. But if
Exactly.
he's just standing there and if you look at it as a art piece, that's fine. I don't have enough space. I don't know most people that have enough space to just have inbox collectors. I kind of saw it as like, oh man, you must be rich. Like you got space to have all of these boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of space.
That
And
is a lot of space, yes.
God bless you if you collect Super 7 in box. You know.
Well, I'm hoping to get a display stand soon because yeah, the place I have the boxes isn't that big. And soon
Yeah.
I'm gonna have all the Super 7 Power Ranger stuff and well, I have limitations, and that's just something about me as a collector. I have limitations. Like I'm not planning on going to the extreme of having every Power Ranger set. I have things I want to collect, and there's things I don't want to collect. But I know there's people out there on the Lightning Collection group or the Turtle group that go, I need every single last one. And it's like, what are you gonna do with them? Where are you gonna have the space for them? Are you going to buy them and then resell them?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of my most pet peeves of all on the Lightning Collection group. Everybody is, I know this is a different subject. Everybody like wants these action figures, right? And all of a sudden someone's selling them. And if you ask them why are you selling them, it's because I can, or it's because I don't want it no more. Well, if you don't want it no more, why did you buy it in the first place? You wanted it at one point, and
Yeah.
like being a collector of other things as self, as soon as you get rid of it, all of a sudden, a year, maybe 2 years later, maybe 6 months later, all of a sudden you go, man, I wish I didn't get rid of that, and you can't find it nowhere, or you can find it, but it's up there in price. It's like I regret not buying the Legacy Morpher when I had the chance when it was in Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
Because now to buy that Morpher, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to buy those Legacy Morphers or even the movie Morphers, depending on which one you want. Um, so Hasbro makes an affordable one, but it's not the quality. Again, back to the action figures we are talking about, they look amazing when you're not, moving the articulation. Now, I don't know how the original crane was from, some of the other lines. Like I saw one on Amazon that's called the Big Crane. It's like supposed to be like this tall.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's the one you're showing, maybe. But uh, again, what is the articulation on that? What is it gonna look like when you bend the elbow? What's it gonna do different? You know, I mean, uh, let's talk about the 30th anniversary characters of Hasbro's. I just saw someone post online their Black Ranger that he just got. is very loose, and he's flicking the head, and the whole head's spinning around. Okay, I know it's on a ball joint, but you need to fix that head because it's not sitting on there
Yeah,
properly.
that's a shrinkage problem because the plastic on the neck shrunk. So
Yeah.
the head, if the head was supposed to be this big, but the hole was supposed to be this big, and the hole is a little bit smaller, then the head's gonna swim. It's gonna bobble. It's the peg. You got to replace the peg, and I think we're at a point where we should actually have somebody. Maybe there's somebody doing this now, but as far as replacing parts, somebody should teach. Like somebody could actually do a really good job at replacing parts. Like, oh, my vlog is nothing but replacing parts. Okay, your Thundercat's head keeps doing this. Let me show you how to replace the part without breaking the damn thing, because you did spend $55 plus shipping plus tax. So you're looking at close to 70 bills there. So I think that'd be good. There's a lot of figures right now. Let me ask you this question, since we're talking loyal subjects. What would, and while you think of the answer, I'm gonna talk on a different points while you think of this question. Ideally, as loyal subjects, if they start making more giant figures, what figures would you want? And I'll let you to think of that while I hit this point. Going, what giant figure would you want to this size? So while he thinks of that, I wanted to talk about since we're talking about reusing the mold, I think this is a great opportunity as far as the future goes for Utroms. Krang is the main character, fine, but he's a race of these characters. So as far as toy making, you just make the black version and make this one darker. Oh, it's Black Krang, but he's not Black Krang, but he is Black Krang. But you already made the sculpt, so you wouldn't have to spend on tooling or anything like that. You make a black version of him because he's obviously a white guy. He's an alien head, but you know what I'm saying. You make the black version. You make the black version, and you make this a little darker, or you make this a little lighter shade of pink, and there you have a variant. You call him Utrom 1 or something, or you call him, I don't know, Utrom Jerome or something. If you want to be creative, you can have an actual army of these guys, and people would buy it. Or another one, a glow in the dark version of this. Why not? You know what I mean? Fun stuff. What? You could do small tweaks and, kind of stretch out make cuffs here. And it could be like Disco Krang. And he's wearing like the white, the Saturday Night Fever. Like, oh, look, but it's still using the sculpt. You just put very little to make it look like he's got, shoes, and you give him a little collar, John Travolta. There's no way somebody that doesn't like John Travolta wouldn't buy a John Travolta looking Krang.
Well,
you know what I mean? You have the sculpt. This is cost cutting. This is literally. I'm giving loyal subjects ideas from. You could have an army of these guys. You know what I mean? Hell, be ballsy and make a girl version.
There you go.
He's a race, right? He's a race.
Yeah.
Very much a boy. Well, how about Cranette or something?
Cranette. Kind of like Bowser at.
Yeah, and you have your body, and you could keep reusing Cranette, Shaniqua, or something, the black version, the Asian version, like Barbie does. Barbie makes one Barbie body, and they just keep changing the color of the skin to black, white, orange, the Latina, Mexican, whatever you want to do it, but you get more life out of the sculpt. So
that's right.
There's that. And that was my little point on what I want to say about, we can get more of these. You get life out of these, bro. You can. You want to have some fun? Make Krang, and here, put him in the Foot Soldier colors.
There you go.
Right there.
It's a limited edition right there.
That's a San Diego right there. I mean, they're releasing one. They're releasing one right now, which is the stupidest repaint I've ever seen. All they did was put green around the border and call it the toy version, but they box it as a comic version. I don't know what this company does, bro. They're slick. They're slick, but they're not slick the right way, though. Like
So
I said,
here's an idea.
fun.
Foot soldier Krang. So you just give him the foot soldier body and that tallness.
Yeah,
But for your question,
yeah,
I
but
don't remember the character's name, but the rock soldiers.
there you
I don't
go.
remember.
They should have
You
made him for this fucking line. I mean, sorry, not
yeah,
to curse, but
no,
they
no, no,
should
it's
have made him
okay.
for this. Where's the Rock Soldiers? That's an army builder.
Yeah,
You
'cause
get multiple buys out of this. That's the
you
point,
got two
right?
of them. You got a blue one and you got the standard
Yeah.
clay looking one.
You have General Trag and I forgot the other guy's name.
There you go. Yeah, I can't remember the name of them, but and they're taller than the turtles, so why not?
Yeah. You can reuse it because we're thinking of the two main characters, like we're thinking of Krang, but Krang is a neutral. So you would have to have the general Rock Soldier as well.
Yeah,
And if you're using the same body, all you have to do is make a different head and maybe add shoulder pads. So okay, that's the general one. There you go.
exactly.
If you make
Give
this
him,
stuff better available to people to get and not have at a decent price, why wouldn't it?
yeah. I mean, honestly, there is so many characters out there that toy lines never made
Yeah.
for all sorts of She-Ra, He-Man, GI Joe. Even I mean, Hasbro is doing a pretty good job of catching up on some of these, but oh, speaking of which, I saw on Hasbro Pulse they just released the Giant Man. I think it's called Giant Man. It's a Marvel character, and this
Mhm.
action figure is gonna be, I think he said 20 inches tall or 24 inches tall. I mean, it's gonna be pretty big. It's like almost 2 feet tall, I believe. Um, but yeah, it's a HasLab. Again, HasLab. Actually, no. Let me ask you this: what do you think of HasLabs? What do you think of those?
I think they have their place as far as play sets and things like that. Like there are certain things you obviously can mass produce, right? Uh,
Right.
there's like, I don't know, 60, 65 Star Wars ships. There's probably like five of them that are mainline as far as people know. People know the Death Star. People know this one, this one. Okay, the five core ones. Not everybody's gonna buy all 65 ships.
Okay.
But if you want to make a spaceship out of like the ghost of a spin-off show of a this of a that, that's a perfect spot for a HasLab.
No, definitely.
So I think that's a good idea. Obviously, since we're talking Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, the HasLab would be making the command center.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's it, bro. There's no way that doesn't get funded. Look, even if you have 100 people, you're gonna get those, and you sell the
Right.
thing at 500. You're still gonna sell it. You don't have to fudge the numbers at the last hour like they did with the Cat Slayer. You don't want to. I don't know if you saw that, but that was some gimmicky stuff. The last hour, they got like 400 buyers.
So I will say this, according to a lot of news people out there on YouTube, the Battle Axe and the Power Bow are supposed to be HasLab, and I find that to be the most ridiculous thing to do with that set. I
Yeah.
understand the concept of it, but on the other hand, those are limited edition pieces. So the people that could not buy them off of the HasLab has just lost every part of the rest of it because let's say they bought the daggers, the power sword, the lances, and now they can't afford a $500 HasLab. Now they don't have a complete set, and people are gonna get mad about that. But that's my understanding. That is gonna be the Power Ranger HasLab. It's gonna be the Battle Axe and the
Yeah,
Power
that's
Bow.
that's the rumor. I mean, it's one of those things like you with Power Rangers. It's kind of I'll believe it when I see it type things.
Yeah,
Not
because
that I don't think some of the toy reporters are right, because I'm not obviously a toy. I'm a toy maker. I'm not a toy reporter. We don't
yeah,
do like every 3 hours like Mad Hatter another video. I mean, shout out to Mad Hatter, nice guy and everything. And if he's got enough time for it, go ahead. But we're
yeah.
not. We're not toy reporters like that. So yeah.
No, but I thought it was interesting because when you brought up the command center, that makes more sense to me. Because again, this is collectible stuff. This is stuff that people want to show off. You got a command center, a good looking command center. You put your Power Rangers in there, and it's gonna look amazing. And that's another way you can get Zordon and maybe even Alpha 5 instead of having to find the old fashions order on an Alpha 5 pack. That is going again for a lot of money because they haven't reissued it.
Oh,
It's
yeah. I think that, like I said, the going into your answering your question as far as HasLab goes, I think it has its place, but I think sometimes they do HasLabs for stuff that doesn't need to get HasLab. Sometimes they really like the Star Wars thing that crashed the thing that looks like a pile of poop. Uh,
oh yeah, I
I
know what you're
forgot
talking
that
about.
Ragar or something. I'm not that big into Star Wars. I apologize. I
Oh
don't
no,
know,
no, it's okay.
but you
My
know what I'm
son,
talking about. It
my
was like
son's big into it. I'm
$300.
not.
Yeah, but you saw that failed massively because they put
Yeah.
like a drawing behind it, and they put that as one of the tiers. You can't do that. You can't do that.
No. No, honestly, when I look at a HasLab, if I don't like the main product, I really don't look at the tiers because like I'm not gonna be buying it, you
Yeah,
know. But I mean even loyal subjects, Super 7 can do some of this. I mean Super 7 already has theoretically they made that
what
secondary
whole business
Rita,
model is that? Yeah, the
Um
pre-order, the
yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Have you noticed I don't know if you've been on Hasbro Pulse lately, but that's where I found that Super 7 I made a video about this. Super 7 and Hasbro Pulse is coming together. There you can find the Super 7 reaction figures of Dungeons and Dragons on Hasbro Pulse. You can find that evil Rita on Hasbro Pulse now. So I don't know if there's a contract between the two now for selling on the same website, but
I didn't
it
know
will.
that at all. That's
Yeah, if you,
probably
if you
like late breaking news because I'm usually pretty good about this stuff.
it's about I think I found it like 2 to 3 days ago. I went on to because I go to
I know they
Hasbro
work with Big
Pulse.
Bad Toys and Entertainment Earth and places like that and Shozy, but I didn't know that they were like straight going to the mothership, if you will.
No, I know, right? No, I just went on. I go on there every once in a while because sometimes they have stuff that pops up that it's like, oh, that can make a good video,
Yeah,
and I was like, that I'm making a video of this because it's just out of the box. It's
yeah.
not something that's common to see on a Hasbro. Another company using Hasbro. It's like, wow. I mean, I know it's licensed by Hasbro, but it's still not Hasbro.
Now that you say the HasLab, why don't you keep talking? I want to show you something that
Okay.
you're gonna that would make a lot of sense for HasLab.
So yeah, I mean, if you think about companies, they try to keep each other separated, so you don't have to go, well, okay, so this is a Power Ranger by Hasbro, but now Hasbro's taking over the company because that's what it kind of looks like when you see a company conform with another company. It'd be kind of like if Intel and Apple combined together. People probably wouldn't like that very much because some people are Windows users, some people are Mac users, and
I have to back up here because this is pretty big.
I see that. That is pretty big.
Yeah. So I made this. This is the playset of where the Mascara fighters get their powers. This is called the Incal Mascara Pyramid, right?
Okay.
And
Oh wow.
I made it. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah,
what it looks
you
like.
made it.
Yeah, I made it. I have a cheap plug for myself, but you can check out my YouTube channel, and I have an entire series where I'm just making it, and you see me from design, from concept to painting each corner to doing everything. Something like this. This is your HasLab. You know
Oh
this
yeah.
this type of gigantic thing, and I made it for scale with the figures.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's it right
See,
there.
I think that looks pretty good in my opinion. Maybe it doesn't, but see there.
Yeah, it looks great. I think that's perfect.
You see
For
how
the start.
massive this thing is? This would not retail. You know what I mean? Let's be
No, no,
honest.
not retail.
You're not gonna fit this in a shelf
No.
at Target, you know. So that
Now see that just jogged my memory because there's the mutant the turtle layer coming out from I think it's Mecca. And they want like $500 for it. And it's pretty much a shoebox. As people say, it's a shoebox.
yeah,
And but it's a high detail shoebox. But the reason people complain about it is because you can go to, no name toy creators that do 3D printing of the same identical thing, and you can buy it a lot cheaper. It's kind of the same concept as a HasLab because you can only buy it off the Mecca website because of how big it is.
Mhm.
And again, it's one of those things you buy it or you don't buy it. It'd be the same thing with your playset. You put it on your website. If people want it, they'll buy it. If they don't want it, they won't buy it. But again, that'd be like something, in my opinion, if I was a creator of something like that, it'd be buy to order. You have to order it, take it out, that you get that money, you have to make it. And of course, you would have to people would have to trust you first of all, and that's just common for any company. New day company, people go, I don't know about that company, and then sooner or later they build up, and like, oh yeah, and then they don't make the product anymore. And they go, I missed out because I was too concerned. Um, but yeah, stuff like that has lab, definitely has lab for that. Um, the Mecha turtle layer, I think that's a perfectly good example of over cost for something that shouldn't be costing so much. You know.
Yeah. Now that since you're talking layers, I don't know if you saw the what do you call it? This guy, Ramen Toys.
I've heard of him.
Ramen Toys. He's making a sewer layer, and he's making it for almost half the price. I think he's making it at 170, 180, and NECA
Yeah,
wants 300.
exactly.
And he's already shown the blueprints. He uh, I saw this literally on Mad Hatter's thing, so there's a plug for Mad Hatter. He does have some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Good guy there. He did a big interview with him, and he's like, "Hey, look, these are the specs. This is the tentative specs because it's not final, obviously, but he did have some renders already. He did have some images. He did have some stuff actually, going. So there's the option right there. I mean, me personally, I mean, I'm almost dreading the day that it happens because I'll be the first one to like prop down my 500 or whatever dollars for it. But I'm like pretty sure Super Seven's making that damn sewer layer playset.
Oh, I'm sure they will because they already made the turtle van or the party
Yeah.
wagon, whatever you want to call it. I mean, again, that's something I'm not interested in, honestly, because one, price is a big deal, and that will just get me down the rabbit hole of starting to collect their turtles. And I really don't want to start collecting their turtles.
Oh, I since we're saying that, I am actually I'm all in up until now. Up until the what is today, September 10th.
Yeah.
Up until September 10th, 2023, I'm all in for Super 7. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, up until this point, because there's 4 waves of figures that are pretty fillery. I don't know if you've seen the 4 waves that he's got that are stuck in the boat or they're stuck in the factory or whatever. But he's got like 20 figures that are not coming out. And I saw he had Brian. He had an interview on Foosh, and he was talking about, hey, he's gonna release another wave of renders in November or something. And I'm like, well, and he's gonna try to. No, he's gonna actually because he already confirmed this. This is just the cliff notes of it, but he confirmed that he's going to be making 2012 turtles as well.
Okay.
And the thing with me is, I'm a vintage fan because what got me into the line was their Leonardo, their vintage Leonardo that they remade the Playmates, but with the whole thing, and I think that's spot on.
Spot on.
I don't
Okay.
think this is bad as well.
Oh, that's great. I like the look of it. I mean, if you saw the original episode, I think it's the original episode. No, it's not the original. It's the one where they run up through Channel 6.
Mhm.
One of the original foot soldiers looked just like that. I think that looks great. From the cartoon, the original foot soldiers, there was a few of them that looked just like that. So that's perfect.
If
I mean,
yeah,
in my mind, Super 7 does great,
they feel
detail
like
work.
toys. That's the thing with the other
Yeah.
companies; they don't always feel like toys. I'm not
No.
going to go to Walmart and spend $36 on a figure that doesn't feel like a toy. I mean, if it doesn't feel like a toy, why am I buying a toy?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Um, but speaking of, discontinued or, you toys that was supposed to happen didn't happen. Again, I don't know how much you follow on Super 7 Power Ranger toys, but they had Madame Woe coming out and the Tiger Zord in battle mode.
Yeah.
And the Tiger Zord in battle mode, honestly, I really wish it wasn't in battle mode. I wish it was just in Tiger form, but I understood why it was in battle mode. But getting rid of Madame Woe really upset me because that's one of these characters that you didn't see very often as a toy. And the excuse that I heard from a lot of people and from the company itself, because I wrote to the company asking because my
Oh,
pre-order
you pre-ordered
disappeared.
it?
My pre-order disappeared on me. I was like, "What the
Oh, yeah.
hell
Well,
happened
you're
here?"
the customer. You have a right to complain. Yeah.
Yeah, so I asked, and they're like, "Well, we didn't get enough pre-orders." And I'm thinking to myself, that is some not that I don't believe that. I don't because um I did a video on that way when it first hit the news,
Hmm.
and I had so many views on that video, and uh yeah, it was just ridiculous. And then other YouTubers I've listened to said, yeah, they should. I think they just discontinued it because they didn't want to make it because they had friends that pre-ordered it. They knew people that pre-ordered it, and I don't think the Madame Woe one. Maybe they just couldn't get the full rights to it. Maybe I think it's more about rights than
I don't
anything
think it's
else.
the rights issue. I really don't.
You don't? Okay. What do you think it might have been? Because I don't think it's the pre-order.
Honestly, it's Super Seven's problem across the board, and I say this constructively, not critically, because I don't run a company that big, and so this is just me from an outsider's perspective. But honestly, their production line is woof, 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 woof.
Huge.
It's so clogged. There's so many figures, that are being waited to be made that they figured, you know what, the Dragon Zord and I mean the White Tiger and Madame Wool, they're not moving as hot as I don't know, maybe Star Trek. Maybe they got big numbers for their pre-orders for Star Trek because they're doing
Yeah.
the next generation. If their thing is all the pre-order models, so if they have more pre-orders for that one, that doesn't mean that Madame Wool wasn't getting it. It was just okay, like okay, for example, this is Madame Woe, and this is I don't know, Star Trek. Fine, right?
Okay. Let's go
This,
there.
this
Yes.
yeah, this Madame Woe has 500 pre-orders, right? This Star Trek has 3,000 orders. Which one am I gonna go with? 500 or 3,000?
Of course, they're 3,000.
You got to get one out of the factory, so there
Yeah.
you go. I think that's their issue. Their issue is literally the production line. It isn't. You cannot make people that are already adults wait even longer. Like I wait for them, and up until now, because I think the first 5 waves have been pretty damn solid, even with the Leonardo and the surfing Mikey as kind of fillerish.
Oh yes.
As far as their line goes, they've done a bit. I have the figures, and except for 2 or 3 hiccups, because every line's gonna have an issue.
Oh yeah. Of
I think
course.
their Ninja Turtle is their bread and butter, but I think they have to give more of the license itself back to Viacom. So they lean more on Thundercats because I think that they have a better contract with Thundercats. Period. That's why they're making the Thundercats layer. There's no reason not to make the Technodrome if you
Oh
have an
no.
license. Period.
I
Your
I
Super
will.
7, you know what I mean? It's right
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna make the Cats layer. Oh, because I get more of a cut of the money from Cats layer. That's
No, I will say the Technodrome is huge. I actually had a Lego set of the Technodrome, and I put that thing together, and it was so big I had no place to put it.
it could be a better contract thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just literally. I don't know
I mean,
what their contract is as far as Power Rangers go, but
I know according to the one webinar I listened to through
they're on their
Super
second
7.
repaint because they did the black and gold Dragon Zord.
Yes, that was a limited edition thing, and the
Yeah,
reason they
now
did,
they opened it to everybody because everybody's selling that black and gold Dragon Zord now.
yeah, and the reason behind that
And
is
the
something
Rita,
they,
like we just talked about,
yeah. But
the
the reason
purple Rita.
behind the repaint is something they used to do with Bandai. Bandai used to do it. It was usually a holiday paint job or a limited edition Comic Con. or something like that. And even Hasbro did it with the Megazord. Hasbro made the gold and black Megazord too, not too long ago. And of course, that was limited and it's gone now. I think the Dragon Zord is going to be the same way. It's going to be a limited Dragon Zord through Super 7, and it's probably going to be gone pretty soon, I would think. Who knows? I'm not really interested in that one. I don't like the look of it. I'm more of a old school perfectionist. It's going to look like this, or I'm not going to buy it, you know?
What do you mean
It's
with
like,
the Dragon Zord or?
yeah, both of them. It doesn't matter. Dragon Zord, Megazord. I want it to look like what it would look like on the TV. I don't want a repaint color of it.
I think
Personally,
they did a bad
myself.
job there. Super Seven. I think they did a
Yeah.
bad job with the neck of the Dragon Zord. I think the figure looks fine, but as far as the neck, it's like this. It's not. There's no neck to it. Every Dragon Zord's supposed to have this. It's got a very. If you can bring up a picture, can you share a screen share?
I don't know how to do that yet. I'm gonna look into it because there's a
Oh, look
lot of
into it for next time.
photos I wanted to show,
Yeah,
and I'm looking at this going, how do I
yeah,
add this? Because I've seen people do it on this program before, and of
yeah,
course, we're still new to this program, so
yeah. So yeah,
um,
the point is that there's no neck to that Dragon Zord, and the Dragon Zord's supposed to have a neck, so I don't like that.
well, again, I gotta look at the old school videos of it because I
Yeah,
know Super Seven said themselves that these are based on the actual people in the box suits, like the suits of the
that's fine.
people.
When they
Yeah.
do good, you know me. I'll say when they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they're
Oh
bad.
yeah.
I look. Round of applause for the Tyrannosaurus, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Super Seven Tyrannosaurus.
Oh yeah, that one's wonderful. That one's
That
great.
is a beautiful looking figure.
Oh yeah, and again,
They nailed it
it's
there.
up there in the box. But
Can you get
again,
it? So I can see it at least
I
from the
get it.
box.
Let me try it. I'm gonna have to scoot the
Yeah,
chair
yeah,
over, but let me try
yeah.
a second.
Yeah, that Tyrannosaurus, they did a really good job as far as the design. It looks like a guy in a suit. It looks like the whole thing. So it's really really cool. And hopefully you can get it down from the shelf and you can look at it, even in box. See, there it is.
All right, give me a second.
Yeah,
So yeah, on my channel here, I actually do have a full review, and of course you see me unbox and all that too. But
yeah, yeah. But just to get a look at it, that's a beautiful freaking figure.
and again, I love what they do with the boxes here, and it's wonderful. It's great.
How's the tail? What you've
Okay,
already done a review on it? Can you
I've
move
done a
it
review. You can
away?
I won't let you. You can go watch it if you want it. But each one of these little pieces of tail actually move. They move. You can rotate them. They bend. Up, down, left, right. It's amazing. Now, the one thing about the Zords that I love the most about Super 7 is the coin. That coin right there is made out of die cast. It's a die cast coin, just like the legacy coins, and they're heavy.
Mhm,
So one thing about Super 7, I wish they will bring out all the Zords so you
mhm.
could have a full set of coins.
Yeah,
I
I don't know how they're gonna do. I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of have to, even if the line isn't doing great. How can you not at least release the five Zords? You know what I mean?
right, and again, that's something else. It's like I want the Zords from Super 7 because of the coins. Honestly, the coins, those coins are so high end. I mean, they're just on one side it has the Z from Jew Ranger, and the other side has the actual power coin look. So
Mhm.
it's a great one for one scale of the power coins. Now I'm not expecting them to bring out a morpher for it, but just to have those coins even displayed on the wall in like a shadow box or something. And it's funny because it does fit right here, but it doesn't stay in place. It's too thick. But from a distance, if you had it and you squeezed it like this, it does stay unless you do this.
I
And then
can
it
see
falls
them
out.
doing a display for it, but I don't see them doing a morpher. Like,
No, neither do I. I don't see them doing a morpher for
but
it.
you
No.
know, like the morpher display that the Hasbro one has
Hmm.
with the five coins. I can see them doing something like that. Like, hey, look, now you can, because they're doing the chair for Lord Zed. So I think they can. I see that in their wheelhouse more than anything.
But but yeah, I mean the Super 7 products, I have nothing wrong with these. Like I remember watching reviews of these guys and like, oh, the hand broke and this broke and stuff. And um I realized that people are being really rough on some of these characters, when they're pulling stuff out. So one of the things I do in my videos, and I know I say it all the time in my videos, and it kind of probably gets annoying, but is instead of just pulling, because a lot of people will just pull it and break the little pin inside,
Hmm.
is you're supposed to twist and pull. And
Yeah,
same thing when you're putting the stuff back in, you're supposed to twist it and push. So you have a less of a chance of breaking that little pin. Because these things are tiny. I mean, these things are, you've seen them. And
I think
yeah.
they benefit though from bigger pegs.
Oh,
I
I
think
totally
that
agree.
there is a problem that Super 7 has, bar none. Like, look, going back to the foot soldier.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at that. This is beautiful, but then when you move them, I have
Yeah.
another foot soldier that I bought. The legs are fused together to the point where I cannot do this. This figure
Oh,
is so warped because on the inside, the both peg here's because this thing is look. I can sort of show you. You can see there how small the peg is
oh
for
yeah. Yeah. The
that is,
joint.
and it's already looking like strainy. So I don't want to keep pulling at it. But
Yeah.
if you had a bigger peg, you can make the foot soldier's hips a little bigger, bro. This doesn't. He's not supposed to be anorexic. This is supposed to be a toy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's
Exactly.
already
Yeah.
got like an hourglass figure. He's like, you can make this a. Look how small this is. Like, look, I'll show you. It's
I,
not a bad toy, and like I said, but their problems are that if this was a little bigger, I'd buy more of these because you need foot soldiers. But
yeah.
this,
That's not
is
right.
tough.
I mean, I have lightning
This
clutch
was
and
after
toys like that.
boiling him because he wasn't moving.
Oh
He
boy.
came, yeah. I bought two on eBay, and one of them wouldn't move at all, at all, at
Oh
all.
wow.
I boiled him. I used the hairbrush thing. I left him out in the sun for the day. See maybe if the sun helped me.
They
Nothing.
just nothing helped. Wow.
That guy's not moving. And
Yeah.
this could be bigger too. This is really small. This is like 4 inch size. This is supposed to be their main weapon, and this I forget what.
Okay.
This is pretty small.
Yeah.
Somebody that big. Look, I'll show you an in scale. Look, see how
Oh
small
yeah.
it is?
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
That's a small weapon for. This is supposed to be from here to here. I mean, because this also criticism aside, you have to be fair. They are trying to be actual scale-ish,
Yeah. Exactly.
which Playmates never gave a shit about scale. We're gonna do them at 4.5, and that's it. It
Right.
doesn't matter. Rocksteady, Bebop, it's 4.5. If it doesn't fit in that 4.5, we're not making the figure. So I
Now
give it.
I will.
You
I will
know,
give. I will give. Playmates a good thing about the new Mutant Mayhem toys. They are different sizes. Even the bad guys are different sizes, and I
yeah,
thought that was neat. I think they did a good job on that. And I was like really impressed that they didn't go, well, Bebop and Rocksteady are going to be the same size. Leatherhead's going to be the same size as them. No, they were all different sizes in height and in width. And I was just like, wow, amazing, for Playmates.
yeah. Well, everyone, do you have any final thoughts on the loyal subjects to sort of wrap up this episode, buddy?
Honestly, what I've learned from you and what I've seen, you know, I'm, I'm kind of disappointed. I think they just need to work on the quality control a little bit, and they need to work on the design, overall design, not the character design, but the way they put them together.
The
That
assembly.
the elbow joint on Crane and stuff. Just they can do better. They can do better. I think if they did better, and I saw a review on somebody going, "This is the new 2024 Krang. It's a remake of the old one, and the joint wasn't like that." I probably go buy it because I don't have a Krang in my collection of my early 90s turtles. I still have all my Ninja Turtles. I have original Splinter. I have the news van. I have all that, but Krang, no, don't have one. So that'd be something I need. Like you said, it helps out the replacement of stuff you don't have. That's my final thoughts on it. I mean, it looks like an awesome line, but just like just little things like that, bugs the hell out of me, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to wrap up the loyal subjects, well, to finish my thought on the other thing real quick, uh, as far as Super 7, to end that point, the next four waves are very fillerish. Like they have, I don't know if you've seen them. They have Gorilla because they couldn't get Sergeant Bananas. They have a flocked Splinter that nobody asked for. They have a Shredder with slight different paint on it, but they can't cover up the shirt, so it's not the Toon Shredder, quote unquote. It's a lot of filler in that line, but they made a color variant of Metalhead in the Michelangelo colors. It's a lot of filler in that line, considering it takes 2.5 years to get these figures. I would not put that much filler. Every single wave should be, knock out of the park. I get re-sculpts and all this stuff, and there's other ways you can do it. But that's my final point on the loyal subjects next. The Super 7, the one figure I think that I would literally buy right now, but it's still waiting is there. I don't know if you saw that they're attempting to do a Karai in the Playmate style. In that
Karai.
Yeah, Karai. Yeah, they're gonna make a Karai, and they announced this character, and then they took it back because they.
Oh yes, I do remember it.
Oh, Karai Rat King debacle. Jeez.
God, that Rat King was nasty looking. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's I don't want to get too deep into the Super 7 thing, but yeah, Karai's coming. That should be another topic for another day. We just go into Super 7 and we slap that around for a little bit.
Yeah, the Super 7 has a lot of
it's a lot to talk about there. That's the thing.
They do so much. They do so much. I mean, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a 5-minute conversation.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Finishing the loyal subjects, I actually had my little list because remember I had originally asked you what character do you like to see or whatever, and I actually came up with 3 that I think would be good in that giant scale. Would be Leatherhead. I'd like a giant Leatherhead. I think that'd be cool.
Oh yeah.
A Chrome Dome I think would be cool too.
Yes.
Because they don't make that many Chrome Domes.
No, they don't.
So that'd be good. And the final one, I think, I'd like to see them try Muckman, do a giant Muckman.
Oh, I forgot about
the Super 7 one, but I'd like a different take on the Muckman. I like the character. So.
Yeah, they redid him for the CGI one on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about him. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see a giant.
Because Super 7 did an amazing job with their Muckman, their Ultimates one.
Yeah.
But I want to see a different interpretation on the character. Just because Super 7 made it doesn't mean that's the last Muckman I'm ever going to buy, as a consumer. Or as a fan.
Exactly.
Shit, I mean, we're talking toys now, so you know what I mean?
Well, again, I've had this one since I was a kid, and now I have the Super 7 one. Yeah, doesn't mean it's the last one I'm going to be buying. And who knows what's going to happen down the road? My kids might go, "Hey, Dad, I want to get a Goldar from whoever owns it." By the time they get old enough to want to start collecting their own stuff, it could be back to Bandai, it could be a Super 7 only thing, it could be the Zeros.
You're not wrong there about Bandai.
Yeah.
We'll see what the future holds there, but
exactly. But the point is, it doesn't matter what kind of character it is. Doesn't matter if you're a video game fan or not. Things just keep coming back around in a circle. And like you said, you have one Muckman. Who knows what the next one's going to look like? It might be the same character, but when you turn the lights off, it glows in the dark. And when you turn it on, it looks just like the original character,
Well, I like something that's not connected to a piece of media, personally. Like, this is a Muckman we made, and he's not connected. You don't have to compare him to the TV show, the 2013. This is just a Muckman we made because we wanted to make a cool Muckman. That's it.
Oh, one of those. Okay, yeah, I could see that. I mean, that's something
because Batman gets this opportunity all the time. Batman McFarlane makes a million different Batmans, and not every one of them is tied to a TV show or a comic or something. They just like, oh, here's a Joker painted, never existed Batman.
I think they just put one of those. I think they just put one of those up on Entertainment Earth. I think that's
an
what
entire wave too.
Yeah, and again,
purple and green.
how about make a pink Gordar?
There you go.
Pink Gordar. Because rose gold. Sorry, rose gold. Yeah, I mean, there you go.
There you go. Everyone, Dave, you want to plug your social media before we go here? Anything you want to plug?
If you want to see like all the pictures and stuff that I take on my Super 7s or anything that I show on my YouTube channel, all those pictures are on my Facebook page, on the DTV83 Facebook page. You can find the link in my bio here on YouTube. And I think it's really cool because on the videos you watch them on your phone or something, you can't zoom in to look at the pictures, not easily enough. So you go to Facebook, you can zoom in on them, you can look at them, you can look at the detail. And I take nice time and take pictures. I don't just click. No, I do different angles and stuff to make it look like. Good example. This guy comes with a little Red Ranger. I made it look like one of the pictures looks like he's actually calling the Zord itself, and it looks really cool from the angle I did. It looks like the guy's that big and the Zord's massive.
Yeah,
it was really cool. It was a cool picture the way I took it. And I've shown a lot of people it at my job on the streets, and it's like, they're like, oh, wow, that looks really cool. Who took the picture? I did. And they're like, no, you didn't. I say, yeah, yes, I did, So, if you want to see those pictures, go to my Facebook page. And if you like what you see, follow me there. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and like this channel. And I know you have a YouTube channel. So if you can tell you what YouTube channel he's from, and go follow him there and like and subscribe as well.
Yeah. So thanks for everyone joining. If you want to see what the actual making of that big playset behind me, the Gal Mascara Pyramid, you can check out at Mascara Fighters on social media. The YouTube channel, Mascara Fighters, just go to playlist and you'll see there a bunch of stuff coming there. And yeah. Until next time, I guess. By the way, we're gonna be the next episode. We're gonna be reviewing the comments, so please make sure to leave your comments. You want to share or whatever. We appreciate that as well. And until next time, see ya.
Yeah, peace.
Bye.